I kind of fell into photography by accident. I was at my high school and I was selected to take a class on journalism, which was the school newspaper. At that time, my high school only had access to one digital camera for the whole school for that department. So everyone had to take turns using the camera. And eventually when it came to my turn, they enjoyed my photos so much that they asked me to focus more on photography and not so much on writing. I was able to capture a lot of images of my family, including my children, growing up. And within a year or two, you can notice the difference and the changes in people. From there, I wanted to document more about my everyday life, my everyday surroundings. I didn't know at the time that that was considered or called street photography. Just documenting the neighborhoods we lived in and grew up. We moved around from Monterey to San Diego to Monterey over a long stretch of time. But being able to document my children and our family and our journeys between the two cities and seeing the changes as time progressed was definitely rewarding in itself. When it comes to my style, I like to incorporate the landscape with the people, but also people into the landscapes. So I enjoy documenting people more so, but also the different things that people have created and have done. One of my favorite things to photograph is usually after a large gathering or festival, how some of the local trash cans have piled up and discarded after people have been there. Although there's no people there, you can see from the actual image traces of what people have done and the people that were there. Just little clues that people leave behind in their everyday life. One thing I would like to photograph and document more in the future, especially now recently that our family have acquired our passports to travel, I do want to visit other countries and especially rural areas. Being born and raised and growing up in this city, it's always interesting to see smaller towns and smaller areas where other people live, how they live, and the culture surrounding those cities. So I know Japan and Mexico are on the to-do lists. One photo in particular I captured while we were living in Monterey. It was a black and white still that I took, and you just see a collision of both the ocean and what is left over as a dock where they used to do a lot of fishing. But it just so happened the lighting that day, there was one person just standing there by himself. I think it shows our humanity, standing alone with nature and with what we've created in this world. You're left with your thoughts, and what this image, I believe, shows is we don't know exactly what his thoughts or what was running through his mind at that time, but it does let you kind of open up and make your own assumptions and suggestions of what he was thinking. Throughout the years when I was working at Old Fisherman's Wharf, I remember taking photos of just people that worked and lived in the community, and then shortly after you would hear that they passed away. I was able to get one of the family members a photo that I took of their grandfather standing above his theater, just looking out into the ocean. He never knew that I took that photo, but after he passed, I made it a point to print it and have that for that family. They love it, they adored it, and I'm sure they still treasure that photo. I'm actually very inspired by my son choosing to follow into, I guess, kind of in my footsteps, but I've always said my dream one day is to have a gallery in which we can display both of our photos side by side, kind of like a father and son type gallery, so we can show what I have photographed and documented over the years and what you are beginning to document in video now.